So enjoy, guys. Now I'll start recording, and then we'll see how it goes.
Sure. It's already on YouTube.
Okay. Can you guys hear me fine?
Yeah, we can hear.
Perfect.
Okay. So, hello everyone. It's been a long time, I know, and we have missed a couple of months before we start this new podcast series. And I am really excited to invite Aziz and Nazim, which are the part of Hyperflex. And here I am, Bhavesh Sharma, the host of this podcast, inviting Aziz and Nazim to speak on their behalf. Do you guys take a moment and introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you very much, Bhavesh, for inviting us to the podcast. And yeah, it's been a couple of months we talking about doing this, and it's a pleasure to see it go live today. Yeah, so my name is Aziz, and I like to define myself as a platform engineer. I'm also like migrating from the observability engineer, the classical one. Um, yeah, I work mainly on Elastic on the stack, and you can guess it based on the theme of your background. Yeah, and I'm glad to be here today. I'm gonna let Nassim introduce himself, and then we can take it from here, I believe.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, as he said, thank you so much for inviting us. It's a pleasure to be here. So I'm Nassim, pre-sales engineer, working mainly as Aziz on the Elastic stack for a few months now. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you guys for taking out time. Just give me one more second. I'm hearing an echo. Okay, I guess. All set. Okay, so let me tell you one thing, which is this podcast is all about the whole journey that you guys have been through. I know Aziz is very experienced in this industry, and Naseem is going into this elastic journey. So the very first question I have for you guys is like how you got introduced to elastic.
That's a very good question. I think um, I got introduced into Elastic basically from professional experience. So basically, I was working as a developer, and I got to know Elastic from the development perspective, and then I got into it, and then I've seen the power of the solution and how diversified and how it is like a Swiss knife, if we can define it in that way, because it offers a lot of capabilities and possibilities. And I think I'm one of those guys who used to think that Elasticsearch is only a search engine at the beginning. So those people who already thought that it's only a search engine that used it in very specific cases, in search engine cases. And then when I got to know the solution and then I got to know the community, I found out that the solution is very interesting. And I got introduced to Elasticsearch from an infrastructure perspective. So I started my journey with Elastic from deployment and automations, and then I discovered the other layers, which was very interesting. And I've seen the capabilities of that solution to scale out and scale up in very fascinating ways. And I had the chance to work on projects that are like on very big scales and used in a very big known institutions, and this is in itself is fascinating. And I think elastic stack in general today is something that does not need to be introduced. So it is basically in every big company, in every company that can afford it, of course, because it's not it's not a cheap solution, and even if it's open source, you need to have the consulting for it. So this is like my bit my journey to it, and then I'm gonna let Nassim, who has recently who has fresh souvenirs about it, tell us
Yeah,
about his experience.
yeah, sure. So for my part, I've known Elastic for the first time at school, but it was mainly through dashboards, you know. So by using Power BI, Tableau, trying to find another solution, and I've known about Elastic. So it was mainly about dashboards. And then when I started to use it those last few months more and more, I've started to know about mainly observability. And as he said, it's an amazing solution. It's so complete. You have about too many things. You can do security, observability, dashboards with Kibana, search. It's so complete, and I'm still learning about it, you know. This time, I'm mostly learning about observability, which is also an amazing tool for your infrastructure. And the other part that I will be doing in a few weeks, I hope it will be security, and yeah, still amazing solution.
Amazing, amazing.
Why
Yeah,
don't you tell us, Bhavesh, how you got to Elastic?
Yeah,
that was a really good starting I had, because like 7 year back when I got into Elastic, well, I just joined it as software engineer, looking around solutions which we can build using just normal as a using Python, Java, call it AWS solution. These were the technologies which were booming at that time. When I got into software engineering, I realized that I have good interest in databases. I have some inclination towards DevOps. And through this intersection of database and DevOps, I found a solution which I was barely familiar with, named Elastic. And I was very curious about this technology, like what exactly it is, how its different use cases like search, observability, security are there to solve other people's problem. That's how, in just like 3 months or 6 months of my quarter, I got into this, and I was very much amazed by its features. That these are the features we have for Elasticsearch, which we can use, and that's how I got introduced to Elastic. Later on, I studied it. I went through the journey of learning Elasticsearch, configuring our clusters, making sure that we are making optimized cluster, doing a holistic monitoring of hybrid infrastructure, and then it's a learning curve. It never ends. It just go beyond just as a e to the power x graph, where you keep on learning, learning, learning.
Really?
So that's how I got onto Elastic, and later on, I just liked it so much that we now built a company around it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I do want to get into this Elastic part, but first I wanted to know who you guys are as a person. Like, who is Aziz? He is a platform engineer, work on Elastic use cases, but what exactly Aziz want to do in his life? How he, from where he was, and how he grown up till here?
Yeah, I mean that's a very interesting thing. And my first degree in engineering was a civil engineer, and then I had another degree in IT and everything. So just to tell you, I'm I don't know. I don't know how to talk about myself. I'm not used to being on the other side. I'm usually on the other side asking people questions, those type of questions. But I'm gonna try to answer your question. And I was not expecting that one. I think if I wanted to define myself as a person, I'm someone who likes to learn new things and to challenge myself by getting out of the comfort zone constantly, which is, I think, the defining thing of myself until now. Um, and I'm also someone who, I mean, this is something that I'm working on. I would not say that I'm perfect at, is I'm trying to take the risk that I'm not comfortable with taking. For example, if I take just the podcast that I have recently launched, the first thing that would come into your mind when doing things like this is the cringe that would come with it. I mean, we sometimes tend to say we do not cringe because we're doing things. I mean, going public on LinkedIn and doing those kind of lives before getting to the point where you are comfortable, you have guests and people trusting you. Your first videos are going to be cringy because you're gonna make mistakes, language mistakes, behavior mistakes, and all those stuff. And what I'm trying to build in myself is this culture, not this culture, but this idea of not caring about the first, like turning off the caring part in the beginning, because you should activate it later on, because if you don't activate it, you cannot improve your quality, because if you don't care about what people say about you, then you will not improve. But at the beginning, I think you should, and this is something that I'm working on, is I need to deactivate that part at the beginning, then reactivate later, because you gotta care later about what people say, because you need to improve yourself. Like this is like the thing that I'm working on. So if I want to define myself, I would say this is who I am as a person. How does that sound? Like
Yeah, that's really sound interesting because you told me how, not what you work, but actually how from where you came from and what interests you the most. And same question for you, Nazim, like what interests you the most, and define Nazim as like how from where he's coming from and everything like that.
Yeah, I completely agree with Aziz. For me, first of all, first podcast, so you are not very comfortable, but it's okay. You are learning. Or the thing that as Aziz, when I get up in the morning, I want to learn something new that I didn't know, something that I will be using or not, but still trying to learn things. And I'm always learning. It's my last year of my IT degree as an engineer, sorry. So I'm always trying to get better, do some things that I don't know. This experience, as a preset, it's my first one. So you try to know some things that you will not know at school, like events of networking, things that I was absolutely not comfortable, but still trying to get better, to improve my English, my personality as a man. And yeah, that's how I would define myself.
Nice, nice. That's really generous of you. Uh, so I would like to shift gear from like personal to professional, and I'll keep it a mix of both because I know it's not just professional talk we are having, or it's not just deep dive into Aziz or Nazim's life. So I'll keep it a balance of both, where I'll be asking
now,
your
now he's now he's going hard. He's going to the serious mode.
no, no, no.
I've seen it coming. Go ahead, shoot.
So as you guys mentioned, like the initial podcast I also had were pretty much cringy, I would say, and that's how I learned. The guest we have here has done more podcasts than me, so it's all about just learning, 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 getting feedbacks and learning. So we'll shift gear on to you guys.
Go ahead.
And tell me one thing. It's a question for Nazim first. That when you see that there are many big surprises, challenges going in this IT world, how you thought of going into Elastic world, where you have chance to go for like all the different things here and there?
Yeah, that's a great question because, as you said, there is many solutions on the market, but I was looking for, a job, an intern, and the thing that I wanted absolutely was doing not only technical stuff because I can learn it in my life at school, so no problem. And I wanted something that is both salesy and technical. And the thing that was offered to me was working with Elastic, and no regrets at all because you learn technical stuff about Elastic, by the way, which is a complete solution that you don't do only cloud with, I don't know, GCP or AWS or Azure, which is something great, but you also do some security, some observability, making dashboards, and also trying to learn some new soft skills, how to make a discovery call, how to talk with the clients, how to listen, because it's all about listening. And it was my main objective. And that's how I got into Elastic.
Wow. And have you faced any challenges while you are learning Elastic? What challenges you are facing? Like, are you finding this technology way too hard or way too easy, or just an optimal technology to start with?
Yeah, of course. The first thing that you try to understand is how the indexes are stocked. Is Elasticsearch a database or is it not? And you try to learn more and more. So I would say it's not too complicated, but you have to be focused, and try to understand the principle of the solution. And I'm still trying to do my best, but I would say it's okay in terms of difficulty. Yeah.
Nice, nice. What do you think, Aziz? Like, did you also find this similar sort of thing when we started on when you started learning
Yeah,
Elastic?
I can see myself in the same situation. And this is a very good thing that Nassim touched upon, was that when you first get to such a product like Elastic, what the first thing that comes to your mind is this comparison between a SQL database and what is the difference, and
Yeah.
you think of this like this. I mean, after you understand what an index is and what a document is, you also start to think as a NoSQL database. And I mean, let aside all the observability and SIEM solutions, etc. Just like the fact that using Elastic as a search engine, you start to think of it as a regular database, and this shift in your mind that needs has to take you from just thinking about it as a database where you update document to something that you would actually consider as an OLAP database, where updates are not an option, and you should think of it as something that would as a search engine, or as something that would actually work as intended. And I mean, you asked the first question, which is why did Nassim choose Elastic? And I think why did he choose Hyperflex? And this is actually a good question, because you are not getting only to the technical side, you are getting into the consulting side. And Elastic is doing a very good job when it comes to the field engineering. And if you compare their staff today, I think that the majority of their staff is more on the field engineering rather than the development and enhancing of the products. And this is actually a very good thing, because it teaches you two things. You need to be good in technical stuff that you're doing, but you also need to be good with people and communication, because at the end of the day, you will have to prove to the client that the product would solve their problems, that the product is the right thing, and you need to answer their questions about what is possible or what's not in a technical way, but also in a consulting way, because you're at the end of the day, you're kind of always selling the product. You're always making sure that the client would stick to the product, even if you're not exactly the salesperson. But the fact that you are facing the client, you are always doing that indirectly. And the skills that it takes to be uh, facing clients and having many clients that you go and consult with, and then you advise on their or solve their problems. This is actually a good thing, and I actually envy you, Nassim, that this is your first experience and you got accepted to have such experience. I mean, I did not have the chance to do so, but yeah, that's a good start for your career, and congratulations on that. Do you agree with me, Vaj?
Absolutely, absolutely. You made a lot of points which are very true because I remember struggling through. And Nazim, you mentioned this very right point that when I was starting, I was just correlating things with like, okay, this is index, this is my relational table, this is are my table rows column, these are my schemas. So that's how we started with correlating things. And the points Aziz mentioned about when you got into that good exposure, which not just limited to technology but also consulting where you deal with people, you understand their problem. And this problem solving is a very interesting topic nowadays, or It's the core part. If you cannot understand a problem right, how would you be able to solve it? And that's what consulting teaches you. It teaches you that you need to understand the problems that customers are facing and then give them solutions that they are looking for. And if not, then it's all about just getting to the right point where we can find the right solution for them. It's not about just getting the one shot right in the consulting,
Correct.
helping them to point
Yeah.
to the destination that they want to achieve.
Yeah, and it's like you are always in this journey where you're doing the bigger picture and then the details. You're navigating between the two because your point or your objective at the end of the day is not to prove yourself right and the person in front of you wrong. You are doing some people's skills because you want to solve the problem with the person in front of you, but you want to help them. You are here to help them. You're not here, even if they're saying something that's crazy and not doable. You gotta advise them in a way or lead them in a way that would point them to the right direction. And I think this is actually a good community about Elastic because Elastic at the same time there is like the open source product and then there is all the extra features that are built around it and it started as an open source product. And this is a good thing because you're always trying to say that the product in itself solves your problem for free in the open source version and you can build around it. But we have something else that we can offer you that you would solve your problems in more efficient way and would make the investment that you would make upon the open source product uh, less. I mean, you would make less investment and you get the most of it. And this is something that you would not get when you work with an editor that is not open source at all, where the mindset would change because it's more of a vendor lock in logic, etc. And I think this is something that is unique about the product.
Uh, yeah, and just before I proceed, I just wanted to take a moment and tell you, Naseem, that you are doing really well. You have been just using Elastic for like just 2 months, and learning all these things in 2 months is a very good progress that I would like to mention. And
In
now I
public,
would like
you're doing it in public. You're doing him a big favor here.
No, no, I'm just praising him because it's his first podcast. He is very new to the Elastic. People might not be aware that he is just learning Elastic, and we just ask him to jump on our podcast. Like in 2 months, he is like going, "What's going on here?"
Yeah.
So yeah, uh,
That's a good thing. I would not regret joining Hyperflex because it is now under
yeah,
your umbrella, and you're taking the umbrella out of his hands to push him to into a certain direction, and that's a good thing. Yeah.
absolutely. So I have one question for you, Aziz.
Okay.
Like, what's something that you think that you knew you wish that you knew this earlier?
If something that I wish I knew earlier. Yeah, I think there are a lot of things that I wish I would know earlier, but I think one of the things is that the low level technology or low level knowledge is not useless. You know, when you are in school, sometimes you think about, oh, they're gonna teach us about something that is low level that we're never gonna use in our lives because we're gonna always use the technology that is a wrapper of the low level thing. I think that's a wrong approach, and I think when you are in school, you gotta profit from the hypothetical knowledge and the things that teaches you or the things that teach you about the low level knowledge, either that be the maths behind or the hardware behind. And I think we are now going back. There was like a time where we're only talking about the cloud and then the solution and the serverless things that you can use without knowing about or caring about the hardware that's underneath it. But when you work in big companies that have sovereign issues to solve or that would love to have their data in place, or when we work with any data like Elastic, I mean, you would think about those problems of scaling and how you would solve them and how you would, and in order for you to be efficient, and sometimes even for you to solve the problems of the client, you need to know about this low level knowledge that happens underneath the layer that the SaaS product solves. And when you get to work with, as I said, in a context that privileges the use of a I mean, where there is like several problems, and then you have to be in premise, you will realize that you are using that knowledge that one day you were hesitant or you didn't want to attend its courses back in school. Another problem, for example, let's say just the optimization of shard repartition in the cluster. That's a mathematical problem. And just like to explain to somebody or understand it, you need to know that those optimization equations, etc. And this is something that if you know it, or if you master it, you would have an edge on the market. And at the end of the day, the consulting on behalf of editors like what you're doing is basically trying to have an edge over the other solutions and trying to have something that is more, I'm having something else rather than the main thing that is requested in the job. And I think part of having the extra main thing that is managing that SaaS solution is having all those extra things that if you need them, you can just call them and deploy them and explain the concepts behind. And yeah, I think that's one of the things. I wish I knew the importance of those concepts from day zero.
Right. And how have you seen that Elastic ecosystem have been evolved? Like you have been using Elastic for more than a decade, right? So how have you seen this getting evolved right now?
I'm gonna give you my version, and I'm also gonna give you the version of people before me.
Mm-hmm.
I think Elastic went from being like OpenSearch today, which is a
Yes.
solution that you can use, but you are hesitant to use it because you're not sure it would solve your problem, and you're not sure you can manage it, etc. To a solution today that you can deploy and be sure that it will solve your problem and be confident that it will solve your problem, but you just need to think about the price of it.
Mm.
It went from being something that you would have doubts about to something that you can use. And the other advantage, I think this is a big advantage for Elastic, is it, it has an edge on pricing. If you take any technology, if you take any technology, either in observability or CM, in terms of pricing,
Right.
Elastic is always the cheapest. So
Absolutely.
you're just thinking that the reasoning becomes, how am I going to use it? Because let's say, for example, you're going to use it for APM or something like that. There are a lot of SaaS solutions that have better UI, and we
Absolutely.
gotta be transparent about it. If you use Dynatrace, they have a better UI than Elastic.
Yeah.
But for 90% of use cases, you do not need the UI. You only need what's offered by Elastic is also a big thing. You only need what's offered for free in the basic Elastic solution. And
Right.
then if you want to enhance it, you can offer it. So I think Elastic went from a solution that it's cool, it's open source, etc. They can use to something that is dominant in the market. And the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, Elastic is everywhere in terms of enterprise. So the fact that it's everywhere, it's also need an edge on the commercial side because a company is trying to, if you think about like big enterprises, they're trying to reduce the maintenance or um, the head cost of the overhead of maintaining the solution, and the fact that it's already there, and you only need to enable another feature in it. It's something that you can use as a commercial edge over the other solutions.
Absolutely. And I have seen that these in past decade, it has been dramatically changed because when I started, it was just focusing onto the search or logging tool because I started it as a observability use cases, and now it's totally AI, agentic AI streams all over the places. And as a technology company, it's evolved a lot. And Nazim, you might have noticed that shift in the trend that people might be talking about creating applications just using web applications back in like 5 year back. They were just creating web applications and doing those things, DevOps pipeline, web application. And now this totally shifted to AI, Gen AI, Chat GPT, LLMs, and everything. What do you think that peers around you are focusing on? Are they focusing on just utilizing Chat GPT as their companion, or they wanted to understand the core concept of how it works?
Yeah, absolutely. ChatGPT and AI is it's the thing, you know. We all use it. I remember the first time I was using it. It was like my first year of engineering school. Amazing, you know. You are trying to use it. You say no, it's not good. It could be not that good, and then, bam, you prompt something directly it gives you the answer. Just amazing. And most of my I would say colleagues at school, they are amazed by AI. So am I. So are all of us. And I think it's the thing that we all need to use, and that every solution has to have, you know, because if you don't use AI, it's like a train, like the cloud. You have to use it, or you would be left behind, you know.
Yeah, but
So
what is your logic? Are you more thinking of like uh, consuming it or building around it? What's the
both. I
what's the
think both.
trend?
Use it every day is something for people who works is, I would say, great, but also make it more personalized, you know, trying to have something that will be useful for your kind of utilization as a worker, you know. So
Mhm.
I would say both to your question. Yeah,
That's cool.
definitely.
Nice. Yeah, even like if you focuses on this technology which works behind these LLM, that's our machine learning models. They use embeddings, and when you go onto the core concept of Elasticsearch, it do have this vector database. And I would like Aziz, you to touch upon this, that how these vector storage have been helping a lot to become Elasticsearch as like a widely used vector database nowadays.
Yeah, that's a very good question. And let me amaze you with another fact. I've been in a meetup recently, and I've seen a guy uses the vectors in a graph use case. So basically, the guy, instead of like using the new 4G graph database,
Mhm.
he found out that using and leveraging Elastic for his needs as a vector with the intersection of the graph database helped him get better results than a traditional graph database. This is amazing. But I'm gonna respond to your first question, which is the vector database. Yeah, it's actually amazing what they have done with the vector database. And I've heard last year in Elasticon that they are the first vector database or something like this around the market. And as I told you, they are so because they are already in the market. So even if you have like the Pinecons, the all the other the let's say vector native databases that were there only for the vector search, you already have uh, a solution which is the Elasticsearch. If you take that the classical use case, which is lexical search, many companies are already using lexical search, and you are using Elastic for that lexical search, and it's already deployed, and you know how to maintain it, they know how to use it. So now, if you come and tell them, "Hey, we have a vector database, but it's called Pinecon, and you need to maintain it, you need to pay for it, etc., etc." It's under the product, and next to it, we have Elastic. You don't need to do anything. You just need to change your query. So of course, they would go for Elastic because it's easier to migrate to. And I don't know if you have seen this, but the power of vector search today is not using the vector search alone, but using the hybrid search, which combines the the lexical search with the vector search, and all those products. I've actually done a podcast, the first or the second podcast in my channel with another solution, vector solution, and they also have the the hybrid search and they activate the BM25. So even those solutions that are vector native, they also have this, the vector search native, because I think combining the two will give you a bit better accuracy and a better relevance. And as I told you, so it's the two edges, position in the market, and the second one is the all solution, which is lexical search that is already powerful. So combining the two will give you better products. And yeah, I think it's very good. And the fact that you don't need to manage anything even on premise. So some of the databases that you have today that are vector native, they would ask you to do the embedding on your own and send the vectors to the database. Elastic manages this for you because you can just deploy another model of the machine learning nodes and then declare it. And then you can define it as an ingest pipeline where even they made it even simpler today that you can just use it in the mapping and it will take it from there. And I think they are doing a good job for this. One thing that I would say also is Elastic is trying to make their product very abstract, which is something a lot of people don't like. Namely, people who like the low level things, but a lot of people like because it makes the life easier. So it depends on your use case, but you have the two options. If you want the low level, you can use the other solution around it. And yeah, and and this actually answers your first question, which is the power of the Elastic Stack. I think this flexibility of using it for either as a ready-to-use SaaS solution, abstract one, or something that is hard to do and you need to know low-level knowledge and then all that stuff. You can do both.
Yeah, absolutely. And the point you mentioned, which is you cannot find like all the possible things in one solution. Now you have to go with the hybrid approach where you are combining two solutions and getting the best results out of it. And I have seen this hybrid approaches in like different use cases. In fact, inside the search, we can combine this different algorithms to get the best search results. We are going with the hybrid approaches where we are evolving a lot, and these hybrid uh, combination make our things life easier or performance better. Talking about any specific solution, yeah, they do, as you mentioned, Elastic is an extract solution. It help a lot of use cases, but yeah, few people struggle with it as well, as they don't want to migrate or as they don't want to maintain it, the configuration, and those things would be difficult for them. And that's why I have seen this growth in Elastic. They have made it open source for premises, on premises, then cloud, then they have made Elastic Cloud hosted. Now they are going all serverless.
Yeah.
So they understand this shift where people don't want it to take a headache of managing these things and just start using this as your vector databases and Elasticsearch as a database.
Yeah.
So
They're
that's
adapting
really
very
cool.
fast, and I think this is a power because it's now a listed company, it's a big company, and all of that. But at the same time, it still has this logic of like a company that is in a startup mode, that it's innovating at very high speed. So the combination of it, I think it's a great thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, when we are talking about this combinations, what do you feel? Which is the most excited part for you in terms of use cases of Elastic? It's search, observability, or security?
Um, Let me give you the difference between the three in my perspective. If we talk about security, you are good at getting the data in, parsing it, making it available, probably help creating the alerts. but the usage of the data or making the data valuable, you will struggle. You should be an analyst or a SOC analyst to be able to take most of that data and be able to analyze it and create value out of it.
Hmm.
If you are on the search side, I think it's great because you're gonna make search, you can value the data, etc. But it's very domain specific. So if you are searching e-commerce, it's not like me having to do search use cases in finance. You need to have this knowledge about the field. If you are in observability, the thing is you use search because you optimize your queries. You use observability tools and you use all of that. But in the same time, you know the data that you are dealing with because you are also observing your clusters. You are also doing observability on your cluster. So you know everything about the thing, which is observability.
Right.
That's why I think observability is like the thing in the middle that where you use everything from search. I think same at the end of the day is an observability because you're bringing the data and making alerts up on top of it. If you take the EDR and the XDR thing, SIEM as a SIEM tool is observability in itself, observability of security logs and data. So I think the observability in the between is something that combines the advantages of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did I make
Uh,
any sense?
yeah, this does
Yeah.
because uh, when you talk about security analysts would need to know how to find the right details out of those logs that you are receiving. When you talk about search, you cannot just talk about ingesting your data and searching it in real time. You need to make fast for production grade e-commerce websites that are using Elasticsearch as their backend data storage. When you talk about observability, it's not just infrastructure monitoring. You need to make sure that if any server stops sending data, if any application is taking a lot of time, which it usually does not, then to alert us. That's where observability comes into the picture, and it connects all those search and security alongside. But Nazim, what do you think? Which use case interests you the
Which one do you
most?
prefer?
Yeah, I agree with Aziz because I think observability is the main solution because you have an end-to-end visibility across every your infrastructure, which part uses more data, which one has more memory, and you can then also use it for in discovery making dashboards. I think it's the most complete one because you could use I don't know some solution on Splunk for security, but I think that the best part of observability is still about saying absolutely everything you need, for your infrastructure. And this is what amazed me the first time when I used it. So I would say observability, yeah, for sure.
Nice. That's really cool because I personally myself into observability more than search or security, and that's just biasness we have that when we get into this, we like one use case and we like it a lot that we just give it like one more chance. Rest of other use cases.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Aziz, you might
yeah,
feel the same, I
and
guess.
you're right about this, and it's not a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think, but this is an advantage when you're doing consulting because you can switch between the two and level up in one of them. Uh, they have many things in common, but I think once you get to the level of expertise in one field, you tend to be close-minded about the other things. It's like being an expert on on-premise solutions and refusing to adopt Kubernetes because you don't know nothing about it. While if you get out of that comfort zone and become a beginner at the field and then level up a little bit later, yeah, I think it's a good question. It's a good challenge, but also to get back to your question, I think search cases are the most interesting one because again you get to understand the data and you see the impact directly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Uh,
I've seen lately a talk for someone who works at a GitHub, and the type of search that they have is searching an issue and searching, I mean, a commit, etc. The way you search it, the logic that you type, you need to understand how the end user is typing their query, what exactly they're typing, and what kind of query you should make out of that typing. Is it going to be just a term query? Is it going to be should you parse the data before? What should you index, etc., etc.? Because as you know, if you index your data that way, re-indexing it is a hell of a problem. So there are a lot of things that you need to think of, and I think that's also a good thing.
Yeah, that are really cool insights about the industry itself because it's not just limited to any use case. It's about the whole industry, whole IT industry. 10 years back, if you talk about observability was booming. That's why me got interested into the observability because nobody was doing. But right now, everyone is doing this observability, so it's stagnated. But what's the best use case nowadays people or industry have is search. How they make your search easy, how they make your search faster, and how they make your search relevant is what I too feel that industry shift is going towards and evolving in that area in terms of technology growth.
Yeah, because if you think about it, the all the thing is about observability or platform engineering is the ability to diagnose the problem and find the root cause very quickly. And the keyword here is find. How do you find? You find by searching. So if you optimize the experience of searching or the effort that the person would need to provide in order to get the answer from the data that they have, you are doing basically a search use case. Yeah.
Absolutely. And this uh, I am just curious to know, like, if you need to mentor someone right now
Yeah.
to for this Elastic, how would you guide someone so that Naseem can take notes on his end, you can be a tutor teaching about like these are the things you should learn when you are learning Elastic or these use cases.
Yeah, with Nassim, it was easier because we had the free the free workshops of Elastic,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
yeah. I mean, mentoring someone is about the technology solution. Would I think the first thing that you need to ask them is what they know about the technology, so that you can. I think you need to know what they know and how they think, so that you can explain to them in their way. And
Do you
this is
think?
like, yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was going that this is like some effort from your side that would consume more time than just being receptive and answering questions. I mean, doing it in the reverse, making that a person answer your questions just by understanding what they know, where they came from in terms of technology, so that you can make the parallel of what they know. And I think the best way to teach someone or to mentor someone or to show something to someone is to always make a parallel. And if they don't have the the parallels that you can build upon, that becomes hard because you need to give them little by little. It's like the other time I was talking with Nassim and talking about the index thing, and just explained for someone that there is an index at the end of a book. Somebody who never, I mean, I know that doesn't exist, but let's just assume it. Somebody who never read the book and who doesn't know that there is an index at the end of the book, you cannot explain to them that there is something like that. So this
Yeah,
is like,
absolutely.
yeah, this is a joke example, but the point that I'm trying to make is if you have the parallels, uh, for example, explain as if you wanted to explain Elasticsearch as a search engine for somebody, I would start by just talking about database. Do they know what a SQL database is and how the data is stored? And then making the parallel between SQL and NoSQL, between a table and index, between a column and the document, etc., etc. And then build it upon this until you reach the point where you say, oh yeah, it's the same thing, but it's different. The only thing that
Right.
changes now is that document that you see in NoSQL, it's no longer just a simple document. There is an idea to it, you can update it, it's deleted, etc., etc. But having there was enough information, there was enough parallels to build upon until you reach the last layer. I think it's the hard thing. And if somebody has already those perils that make your life easier.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And that simplifies a lot of things because when you correlate things with what you have learned, it's become very easy. In fact, we in Hyperflex try to create a roadmap for like all the engineers we have.
Okay.
We take them from zero till the time they get certified. We have a complete roadmap that they can follow and get a proper training about it. And probably in future, I might run a series with you, Aziz, regarding any technical knowledge that we will be sharing. But we'll see it. But that's just a thought in my head.
Yeah, yeah, we should. Yeah, we definitely should do it. And how do you go about it? If you can share the pipeline, where do you start? So you said engineers. So basically, they already have a degree in engineering.
Yes, yes, yes. So they usually start with completing their graduation and they come to our organization, and then we start brainstorming. We made this guide by brainstorming among ourselves that how we can make things easier for them. The best resource, I would say, for Elasticsearch now online is the documentation that Elastic have. It's the best resource I would have found. Probably Aziz gonna create a whole series on Elasticsearch, or maybe we both, or maybe we all three might create a
I
series
wish.
on it. But uh, the documentation is the key point, I would say, because the documentation comprises, the Elastic documentation would have everything that's needed for a newbie to get started with. They complete all the definition, they have ample of knowledge consolidated into their documentation. But if you are people who are not very much interested in like watching these reading these documentation, then there are few YouTube channels and resources that you can go through to understand what this technology is. And once you understand what this technology is, then only you can start implementing it, because you won't understand how Elasticsearch work until you set up a cluster by yourself. So that's, I would say, is the starting point for our roadmap, where they understand the theory and the practical concept, and then they try to implement everything that they are learning. So let us assume they are learning log ingestion. They have to configure an Nginx server to ingest that log into Elasticsearch, and then they are processing it, doing NLP on it, doing creating ingest pipeline on it. On top of that, creating visualizations, and that's how they are learning. So I would say that's a roadmap we
Yeah.
have.
So basically, you're doing learning by doing thing. If you
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
and I think that there is one thing that you did not touch upon, which is that you're creating consultants. You're trying to have people that are ready for consulting. So there's like minimal level of expertise that they need to get to before they enter the ecosystem. And I think that's a challenge because they need to be certified. That's the first thing they are.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The certification is one challenge, but I see it as a credibility, because then you don't need to prove someone that, no, I have this knowledge. Your experience is you are just 2 3 year of experience, but when Nazim will go out, he'll speak up to see, I am a 2 year experience, but I do have certifications which like 10 year experience people have. So that gives them a impression that, oh, this guy might be that much knowledgeable that a good experienced engineer should have, and that build the trust, all in all. That's
It
what I
adds
want to
more
say.
visibility and credibility to your profile. Yeah, and that's a good thing. Yeah, yeah, that's the point.
Absolutely. Let's shift gear to the real world problem impact that you guys have been seeing with Elastic, and this is for you, Naseem, first. Like, you are learning a lot of use cases, a lot of information around Elastic. Everything is going here and there for you. What do you feel that which real world problem that Elastic is solving, or you might be able to solve with Elastic?
Yeah, sure. So basically, what I'm doing for the last few months, I was working on the Kibana series that you guys can check, and the last one was about Black Friday. So Black Friday, as we know, companies need to have like scalability, having the right server numbers of server, because depending on the hours, you might need that kind of server, and the other one less. And with observability and making dashboards, you can see data that you will have on a CSV, just lines, it don't mean anything. And then it is transformed on visualization. You can make some visualization that could be very useful for your teams. And I think that was the main thing that I was working on, and that really amazed me, because having only raw data that don't serve you to at all and transforming it into visualization is something very powerful.
Absolutely, absolutely. That totally makes sense because now you are understanding those logs and messages that if a normal human would see, they're like, these are just lines. I cannot take any
Yeah.
meaningful data out of it. But you are the engineers who are actually working on getting the right insights from that raw data. What do you think, Aziz? Like, which real world problem you are trying to solve with Elastic, or maybe you have solved already?
Yeah, I've been in different industries. I've been in pure security, in banking, and in public sector. Um, yeah, and I think observability in general, this would put it that way, is in itself a problem. The fact that you have a vital application that has to go uh, live and stay alive because a lot of things depend on it. Uh, let's say, for example, the bank transfers. You have an observability system that will record all the transactions, etc., etc.
Mhm.
If your system is down, your observability system is down, and somebody is trying to fraud the operation out there, and your, let's say, your software that would run patterns over your data or machine learning to detect that an operation is an outlier and should not be accepted. If your system is down, is down, or your system, you don't even have a system to begin with, then those operations would go, would take place. And the fact that you did not detect them, it would cost money for the customer. It would cost money for the bank. It would cost money for, it's a basically lose-lose situation. And I think having that system, or a system that would allow you to run patterns on your data to detect outliers, etc., is a good use case of data. And I have seen a stat lately of the estimation of how much it costs a big organization if its observability system is down 1 hour. I think it's a European stat. It's, I think, $1 million per hour.
Mhm.
That's a huge
That's
number.
huge.
So imagine that with 1 million you can buy a license of a solution, or you can buy a solution that would save you. If let's say, for example, that you have an application that's down for 1 day, 24 hours, $24 million. If you
Yeah,
invest that proactively in a solution, that would save you a lot of money at the end of the day.
absolutely. That totally makes sense.
Mm.
And uh, that gives me a question like if you have a magic wand or and you can change one thing in Elastic today, what that one thing would be?
The mapping APM. That's very specific, right?
Yeah, the mapping part is I know.
Yeah, the map
Uh,
part in APM
but but
is
the
okay.
good thing they did few years back when they released this Elastic agents, they created these integrations
Yeah.
which make our life very easy. We don't need to worry about these mappings and
Did you ever try to create a custom one?
yeah, I did. I when I was using FileBeat, there was a use case. I need to change FileBeat mappings for some custom use case,
Uh,
and it's not just about one use case. It's about creating custom mapping for an index which have around 70 fields in it. And I was like, I need to map one mapping, every mapping right. And if we
yeah.
go wrong, my data is not coming.
I face those kind of problems, and I think the best solution of those kind of problems is to ask the producer of data to make an effort
Yeah,
and to help you
absolutely.
standardize the thing. If it, I mean, if it's up to you to just to do the whole thing and correct his mistakes, then I mean, it's a different problem.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. So, do you like exploring problems more, or you would like to just when you see a problem and you are like, let me just get rid of that, or let me debug it. What you try, you do you solve, do you try a solution-oriented approach, or just debugging the problem?
That's a good question. It's like, what's your approach when you have an issue and you want to debug it? Uh,
Absolutely.
I think that the traditional approach is to look at the similar problems. I think it's basically the logic that we're trying now to implement using the agentic AI. It's try to go to documentation and see if there's a problem similar, and then follow all the steps, etc. And I have learned something recently is you should try to solve the problem the way you classically use, or the standard thing. But sometimes you gotta zoom out and think if there is might be another thing that using the issue. And I have faced the problem where I was having a problem with an agent in Elastic, and the issue was that the cluster was not green. So
Hmm.
the issue in agent and all the logs, it shows you that there's a problem in the certificate, etc., which has nothing to do with the stats of the cluster. And then when I made that the cluster was green and I had all the nodes, etc., I just restarted the agent and it enrolled correctly. So yeah, I think that this is something that I've learned. This it's like try to solve the problem, and if you are overwhelmed and you cannot find out the root cause, zoom out and maybe there's another thing that's causing the problem. But it's not logged correctly, perfectly, because it's I mean, yeah, the issue. But those kind use cases are rare because it means that the login needs to improvement to find the exact issue. That's that it can point you to the right solution. And that would answer your question. You gotta start with the logs. You gotta start with the yeah, you have observability, so you gotta start with the logs that you get from observability.
Absolutely, that
And
completely makes sense.
there is a stat that says the efficiency is of your observability is directly correlated with the time you spend out of the observability system to find the root cause. If you have a perfect system, you have a problem out there, you can just go to your solution dashboards, logs, and then you will have the answer. If you have to go ahead and go to the machine and then spend the problem reproducing the problem or trying to go to the machine and like open the screw, etc., then your observability system is less sophisticated. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. In fact, I'll take a moment and I'll tell you something that would you love to have a tool which solves your problem, which identifies the problem and give you the solution for you the problem you're facing, just like automated SRE agent, or it's just an agent built on top of Elasticsearch, which will give you insights using your old past incidents and its resolution, going through all the RCAs, and it will let you see this is the alert, this is the incident you got, this is the solution you took last time. Would you love to have a tool something like this?
I feel you're trying to sell me something.
Yeah,
No, no, no. So this
Yeah,
is one
I
I
would love. Yeah, of course, I would love to have something like
yeah, that's the dream.
that.
yeah, so that's the dream. That's the dream I have to build all the things and the solutions I can build for other customers, for the people like us who are actually doing these jobs of SREs, where making their job easier
I mean,
is
you are the
one.
CPU, you are the product head, so
Yeah,
you gotta build products.
exactly. That's why I said I just love to build the solutions we have.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, looking forward to building something like this. But uh, tell me one thing, like what's the best part about being in this Elastic community? It's been a lot of years that you have been in this industry, meeting all the like-minded people who are using this open source tools. How does it feels like?
I think the best advantage is the community. That it's big and small at the same time.
Hmm.
So it's small because you get to know a lot of people in it worldwide, and big because it's big. It's all around the world. And I think that the fact, as you say, it's the mindset is a good one. I think the company, I think they succeeded in propagating their mindset into the other collaborators, and I think the community is problem solving oriented. Um, I would not say that everybody is down to earth, but let's just assume so. I think a lot of experts are down to earth in terms of sharing their knowledge, etc. And I think that's an advantage. Uh,
Do you have any thing to talk about this, Naseem? Because you are just exploring this open search community, and people in this open source are talking about a lot of things. Do you have any take on this?
Not so much, because still discovering the community. But I agree with Aziz. Yeah, it's great to learn, to see some things that I don't know at all, and it's yeah, great thing about it because I'm repeating myself, but it's all about your learning. That's why I'm here for. So yeah, it's great.
I see. Aziz, do you have any insights for the teams which are trying to adopt Elastic for the first time, going into this open source community? Is it the first tool that you can try with, or try with something other open source tool?
uh, the issue that you would face with, I think yeah, and the reason why you should consider Elastic as the first go-to when you're trying solutions is it's complete. There are a lot of open solutions that have better compression, and let's be transparent about it. They have better, I don't know, let's say scalability, etc. But they're not complete. They still lack uh, take an example, the RBAC, they lack the ELM management, they lack the security side, etc. The Elastic is already complete. You can just take the solution in its open source and use it with all the features in a production environment from day one, which you cannot do with other solutions that are open source because you need to build upon them to make them production suitable or production ready. And I think, yeah, this is a big advantage. So if I have to pitch this to some CEO who does not know about the technology, I would say you would need, you may have a solution that would need less resources, material resources, physical machines or VMs or whatever, which is less money, but you would pay people more to maintain them because they're not mature enough. Whereas if you
Hmm.
opt for the solution, you will have less maintenance and people cost more than the machines. So
Yeah.
it's a valid argument.
Yeah, yeah. You completely simplify it in a way where people can choose to stuck their head on this, or they can just use the pre-existing solutions. If you want to learn, go ahead, try it, because it will give you immense exposure about everything. When you are
Yeah,
setting up a cluster, you will feel that journey. Okay, now I understand how this works.
yeah,
And once you understand how this works, these tools which are open source, which are just in the market, feels easy peasy that they are doing nothing. They are just using this technology behind the scenes.
yeah. I'm a good sales engineer, right? I can sell
Yeah,
this product.
absolutely. Yeah. So talking about the sales, what do you think? Which one personal skills that you have improved because of working with Elastic or using Elastic, just as in like maybe communication, debugging, architecture, connecting things?
Yeah, I think I will go to my first point that I made in the beginning of this talk, which is making it less about me. I'm not here to prove an argument. I'm not here to debate an idea. I'm just here to help you do what you want to do. And if you are so stubborn and you don't want to listen, I cannot help you. Just, I mean, just this idea of like making it about the person in front of you. But if they don't make, if they don't want to help you, they cannot. That's the idea. I mean, that's the key component.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
And uh, Aziz, do you think like when you are using Elasticsearch, what envision you have for growing in this space? Do you feel that will you continue to learn in this space, grow more expertise in this, or would you love to explore other tools out there?
I think exploring the solutions is not an option because
Hmm.
people, if you don't explore the solutions, people will tell you, "Well, I have another solution. How do you compare to that solution?" So exploring the solution, it's not an option. You should do it. Now, should you always try to evangelize Elastic? For the moment, I think yeah, they're the greatest product out there. To be honest, in terms of like the ratio of like what they offer and what how much they cost. To be honest, they are the best. Yeah.
Right. What do you think, Nazim?
Yeah, I agree. I agree because I think there is 1 billion people who downloaded Elastic. That shows how great the product is. So I don't know if there is that kind of solution that complete. There are competitors, Splunk, Datadog, yeah, but are they complete as elastic and less cheaper than, because Splunk is much you pay much more expensive and much more adaptable because you can personalize your elastic the way you want, while Splunk you can't. I don't think there is a better product out here. So yeah, completely agree with Aziz.
Nice. Okay. So tell me about this thing, Aziz, that when you
I have Vishal who's pinging me, asking me when I can join. I think I have a call with him in 5 minutes.
oh,
Yeah.
are we running for like that long? I thought,
We've been talking for 1 hour and 15 minutes. He did
oh
not
my
really.
God. Oh, nice,
Time
nice.
flies.
That you
Uh,
see, I told you, making it casual would go with glass to
I
places.
I told you, I even feel like it's just like 30, 45 minutes. I
Yeah,
didn't even realize.
I give you the secret sauce of the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so maybe like I'll just take this time, ask you, Aziz, that how do you keep your learning curve alive in these many years?
How do I keep my it's convincing people that I work with, to give me new tasks. So people would not always trust you with the new task. But I think you gotta show them that you're doing something new and you prove yourself that you can do it so that they can give you something newer than what they have, and they would trust you when you suggest a new idea. And I think this is something that I do is I suggest something that is new that has not been done before, and they work toward it. It may work, it may not, but you gotta be honest with people and say this is a new idea, and they want to try it. I'm not sure if it's gonna work or not, but here is my logic. Do you approve the logic? And do you want me to invest my time in that solution? I think this is the best way to learn and stay in the market. And doing podcasts with you, of course.
And with Aziz too.
With Nassim. Oh, Nassim. I forgot. I was forgot Nassim. Yeah, the sales. We got a lot of sales from Nassim.
Yeah. Okay. So probably just gonna keep it very quick. At the end of this, I'll love to take a short rapid fire round with you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Probably I'll start with Naseem first. Um, so Naseem, I'll be asking few questions, and you can just answer like this or that. Okay. So are you ready for it? Okay. So Kibana dashboard or Elasticsearch queries?
Kibana dashboards,
Beats, Logstash, Elastic Agent.
Elastic agents,
Using light mode or dark mode.
light mode.
Favorite Elastic plugin that you have tried.
Uh, I don't know.
ILM policies, they are your friend or you don't like them.
No, I don't like them.
Coffee, tea, or just Red Bull.
Red Bull.
Okay, so yeah, that's what like the mix of everything. And now, Aziz, are
Okay,
you ready?
perfect.
Go ahead, go ahead, and breathe.
Okay, okay. So Elastic in like one word.
Fantastic.
Uh, do you like light mode or dark mode?
I mean, between sometimes I use one and sometimes with the other. Yeah.
Your go-to drink when you are debugging at 2 p.m. or 2 a.m.
Latte coffee.
Okay.
It's a weird one, but I know it's a weird one.
That's fine. I just go for a caffeine shot.
Yeah.
Okay. So if Elastic were a person, what they would be like?
Like Shay Bannon. That's an easy
Uh,
one for me.
absolutely. What are your superpowers as an engineer?
Flexibility.
And how do you explain your job to your parents?
Um, I help uh, your platform stay up.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Uh, have you faced snapshot failures?
Yes.
Cluster red, what do you see? Do you see it?
Cluster red. Yes. Somebody giving one index, creating one index with one shard, and then now it goes out, and you just realize it's their fault, not yours, and you're fine.
So, do you feel like a panic or you see like this is a performance
Yeah,
chance?
no. At the beginning, I feel a panic. I feel a panic because I don't know what's the source of the problem, and then you go to the shard and then you just see that there's a shard missing an index so that has one shard, and then you okay. I did not face any red clusters that had serious problems up until now.
Okay, maybe just last one question, like one tech buzzword that you are secretly tired of hearing it now.
AI engineer.
Probably the same answer I have.
Yeah,
Uh, so I too did not
Vishal is
realize.
pinging me, man.
Done. I'll
And just for the
forward.
record, for the people watching this podcast, I have another podcast with Vishal, which is the CTO of Hyperflex, and I'm doing 2 hours of podcast, which is crazy, you know.
Wow, you have a lot of
Yeah,
energy.
and next time I'm gonna host you, you know, my
Yeah, definitely. I
and
will do a lot.
we're gonna run it for 2 hours so that I can take my revenge.
Yeah, done. And that's all, I guess. That's
Yeah,
everything. Thank you, Aziz and Nazim, for joining us today. It was really glad that you guys joined. And thank you, Aziz, for taking out time from your busy schedule and giving us here.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing your experience, Nazim. It was really fun talking to you.
Thank you.
Nothing was scripted, all was going
Oh
just
yeah.
with the flow.
And the thing is, now we crossed the third podcast, so we are in the yeah, in the 90%. You gotta get to the the 99%, right?
Yes, 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 absolutely.
Yeah,
So I'll
yeah,
keep you guys posted.
yeah.
Would love to see you all. Thank you. Thank you, Hyperflex team, for organizing this. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, and have a good one. And I'm gonna switch to the other one. Have a good one, right?
Yeah,
Bye.
have a good one.